Welcome and thank you for taking time to watch this video. This is our first video in a series of 4 videos on generative AI. These videos are provided by Salto Digital to national agencies. And please remember, you can always pause the video and read the text in the slide or look at the sources or try out the AI tools or methods that I have suggested. So on this video, we focus on generative AI and especially the basics. I will discuss what is generative AI. It's important to understand a little bit about the large language models. How do they work? And I will also provide you perspectives on AI literature. And in coming videos, I will give you more practical tips and show you different kind of AI tools. Today we are more like discussing about AI, but I'm not so much showing how does it work. And then we'll discuss about challenges and perspectives you need to learn about AI, like manipulating data, fact checking, responsible use, bias, stereotypes. And these are the aspects that I think you should think about, but it's also a good idea to discuss about these issues with your colleagues. And then I'll talk about rules and ethical use of AI, like AI Act and GDPR, ethical guidelines. And I will also introduce you some of the national guidelines we have here in Finland. And at the end, I will give you some tips for information search using AI. As you probably know, AI, you cannot compare AI with search engines, but there are some tips and tricks that you can do to that it helps you to find out information you need. My name is Matleena Laakso, and I'm an e-learning expert from Finland. For the past almost 3 years, I have been training a lot of AI, especially for teachers and other educators. I have been working for a long time, mainly as a freelance trainer, but I'm also a visiting lecturer at the School of Pedagogical Innovation in our local university. And I'm quite passionate about open learning and sharing open educational resources. I'm active in writing blog that's in Finnish language, but I have one English web page, and that's where you will find this slide set as well if you want to quickly come back to these slides, not to listen to the whole recording again. And AI is not just work or some serious stuff. It can also be a lot of fun. Here's an image of myself that I took this summer, and I used Pico art to generate this kind of video. Okay, all of us are already using AI in our daily lives. When you are taking a photo with your mobile camera, there are many features that help you to improve the image, and they use AI. AI is used for spam filters, or when you are participating online meetings, you can blur the background with AI. It is said that it has most effects for our daily use when using social media because it's curated by AI algorithms. For example, in LinkedIn, you can also choose that you look for the most recent posts that your network has written. If you don't make that choice, it's so-called most relevant first, which means it's pretty much AI filtered instead of using the chronological order. So what is AI? What is AI? It's a field that combines, for example, data processing and computer science. AI has the ability to do many things that are typically thought that they are human-like capabilities, such as reasoning, learning, planning new things, or even being creative. The AI we have at the moment is called weak AI. It operates in a very narrow field. It can be very skillful, but it doesn't have the kind of multi-talent that us humans have. This word narrow or weak AI is not universally accepted, and some argue that it's quite a moving target, but that's just one way of looking at AI. And in the future, we might have a general AI, which is a bit like a human, and then we might perhaps have also super intelligence. That's something you can read in the books, or when you watch movies on AI, it's usually super intelligence, which is much more skillful and powerful than us humans. Even though I'm talking about AI, there is not just one AI. The AI used in factories or classrooms or administration, they are very different. So there are really many different kind of technologies and different kind of tools that use AI. Most of the modern AI tools of generative AI are based on machine learning. So there's not one single person who had coded the program, but the AI has been given a lot of data, and machine learning is learning from that data and creating new outputs. And most of the tools are using these large language models. Nowadays, they are often called large multimodal language models because um, uh, they can create not just text, but music and slides and other kind of stuff as well. Today, we are focusing on generative AI, and that means the applications that create new content when you ask for it. You can ask for images, photos, infographics, text. You can ask for music. You can ask for slides, different kind of learning tasks, even web pages, translations to text, whatever, whatever in your mind. There's probably a app for that as well. It has been said that generative AI is like a simulation of a human being. In this picture, you can see the model of a robot that Leonardo da Vinci has designed in the late 15th century. He was planning how you could make that kind of robot, human robot, move its arms, but I think he didn't dare to build or even imagine to copy human brains to a machine. But that tells how far we have gone from these days, and that's what we are trying to do at the moment. And as Laura Järvilehto has mentioned, that AI can nowadays imitate human behavior and interaction. It's quite good at it, but you have to remember it doesn't think, reflect, or make any decisions. It doesn't understand anything. It just understands the connection between different words, but it doesn't understand the context. Here you can see the definition of AI literature. Actually, AI Act by European Union requires that everyone who is using AI for work in the area of European Union needs to have AI literature. It depends on your profession or vocation, how much and what kind of AI literature you need. But it's very important that you are not just opening ChatGPT or Copilot and start using it, but you have to understand what lies under. You can just pause the video and read out what is said in this definition. The main idea is that you need to have the kind of foundational knowledge. What is AI? And you also need a quite deep understanding of the ethical implications. Know why. And these are the perspectives we are concentrating on this video. And we will come back to these practical skills in future videos. Then I will show you how to use different tools. And in the next videos, we will talk more about the possibilities. Now it's more about what you need to know and what you have to be careful about as well. So let's start with the features of these large multimodal language models. First thing to understand is that they process probabilities, not words. They don't understand the words, they just understand the probabilities. Prompts and the training data have huge effect on the outcome. The quality of your prompt tells a lot what you will get as an outcome. So I think creating good prompts is something that almost the whole humankind is learning at the moment. The training data is a big problem if you think about it globally. It is estimated that over 90% of the data it comes from Europe and North America. It is mainly in English. If you ask AI to create picture of children playing football, it will probably be an American football, not a European. That's one way of seeing how does it affect of the outcome. Maybe something like 4% of the data comes from Africa, so it's not very globally balanced. And of course, it's important what kind of information you give AI in your prompt, because you can affect the outcome with that way as well. The people, let's change to the, so that's what I was talking about. And then we talk about developers' ethics. So the people in the companies who are creating these AI tools, they have significant important impact on how they work, to what kind of questions you can get answers, and also what are the questions the AI won't answer to you. The answers vary randomly, so it means that if you're asking something today or tomorrow, the answer may be quite different. Or if you use another AI tool, you might get different kind of answers. And this also makes it very difficult to know whether the text or image is created by AI. There is no one way of knowing that. So the main idea is to be transparent and let others know when you have used AI. When using AI tools, it's beneficial to engage in the discussion and refine the prompts. You cannot expect to get the perfect answer with your first attempt, but you need to do it again and again so that you have given enough information and you get AI to understand what you want to have and make corrections. There are also pre-programmed answers to some questions. If you are asking for the salary or health issues of your colleagues, it will probably answer you that they are none of your business. That's very personal information. Or they might tell you that you might ask that from that person directly, not from AI. AI often hallucinates. It means that it will answer the wrong way. Mm, it gives you information that is not true. If you make incorrect assumption in your prompt, that's when it often hallucinates. It may also refuse to respond, and that's where we come to the developers' ethics. Those who are creating these tools, they might say that it's not okay to ask about suicide or murder or how to how to do something unethical, then they might decide that this is the question where we refuse to respond. And of course, this question, what is allowed to talk about, they are also different in different cultures. As we have seen, the Chinese deepfake has quite different questions it doesn't answer than the American ones. And then we have this reminder that always verify AI generated outcomes. You cannot trust the answer you get. It might sound very professional, it might give you sources, but anyway, you cannot trust. You have to verify. So if you are a professional in the field that you are working with, then you probably know whether it's true or not, or you can do the fact checking. But if you have no idea of the question you are talking AI with, then it might be better just to Google or go to Wikipedia and find maybe a little bit more trustworthy answers. LLM grooming, that's the word I just learned a couple of days ago. Often grooming refers to the process where an adult is building an unethical relationship and trying to gain trust with children so that they can abuse them. So it's a kind of criminal act. But this LLM grooming means manipulation of training data of AI. And Russia is one, not the only one, but one of the countries who has done this quite a lot. It has tried to manipulate training data and spread its propaganda. And there's a network of Pravda websites around the world that copy and distribute articles from Kremlin-backed disinformation channels. And this network is pretty large. There are more than 80 countries, particularly those who have supported Ukraine, that have many web pages spreading this data. And AI bots have difficulties, especially in the questions that are less common or they are very recent. Then that this information that is in internet can often be as part of the discussion in Copilot or ChatGPT, for example. And the research shows that in 33% of cases, AI bots have repeated false claims from Pravda network that support the Kremlin narrative. So not everyone is working for the aim that AI would be something that we could trust and it wouldn't hallucinate. There's also different, for example, political aims that are used this way, like Russia is doing. So when you are using AI, you need to verify the outcomes. And please remember that it can hallucinate both content and the sources. So it means that AI can give you sources or references to different articles or book or net links, but it doesn't mean that those articles exist. It can also hallucinate those sources. One way of using AI is after you have discussed with AI and you have a kind of outcome that you are quite happy with, you can ask AI what is missing from this answer or this output. Or you can even ask if the output is right and you can ask AI to check the outcome. Uh, that's not something you can totally trust on, but that's something you might do before verifying the outcome from reliable sources. Um, uh, we have text, but we can also generate images and videos, and it's not always easy to say whether they are real or AI created. And also these tools are improving very rapidly. But I will soon show you short video clip, and you can check if in the video clip the mouth movements and the voice is synchronized. Is there enough space for breathing? Because AI avatar, they don't need to breathe, but we real people are breathing. Or are there kind of hesitation in the speech? Especially if you are speaking in a foreign language, is the speech too 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 good, or is it like human who's thinking, uh, mm, well, then there are many things where you can uh, guess whether it's real or not. But let's try out how does this sound like. I will show you.
Greetings, I'm Matlina Luxo's avatar. In this video, I'll tell you a bit about my AI journey. Before the release of ChatGPT 3.5 in November 2022, AI was mostly a future technology for me. I remember hearing years ago that one of the skills of the future is learning to communicate with AI. I didn't quite understand that at the time.
So, what do you say? Is it me or my avatar? This example is made with Hagen app, and I have cloned my video presence and my voice to this tool. And this video is created so that I just gave it the text, what I want to say, and then I chose that I will speak English in this video. So now you are hearing real me speaking English, and this is how my avatar spoke. So there is slight difference there. Okay. Fact checking is not something that is only needed when you have AI outputs, but that's important in other areas as well. Here are some questions that you might ask when you are doing the fact checking. What sources can I trust? Where can I find these sources? What emotions do evoke, and so on. Several EU countries have so-called fact-checking organizations. So that's a place where you might find good ideas and tips in your own mother tongue. And in the picture, you can see a publication by European Union. It's aimed for teachers and educators, but it's very useful for others as well. And as this EU publication, this is available in many different languages, I guess all the EU languages. Here I have a few tips how you can teach this fact checking for children at school, for example. You can let children ask questions, and then you can ask that from AI, so the children don't have to sign into AI tools, but you teachers can do that as adults. Many of these tools have the age limit of 18. Some of them have 13, especially if it's an educational account. So then you can find out, is the answer correct, and how can you check that answer? Or you can create a so-called fact-checking task for children or students as well. You can use AI to generate text, maybe add some arrows there, and let the learners check the text and verify the claims. First, you need to find out which claims you need to verify. And that's a good place to teach source evaluation as well. What is the primary and secondary source? Or what is the date of the publication? Is it significant? What are the different sources like books, media, peer-reviewed articles, discussion groups in social media? And you can also evaluate the author and organization or the possible motives and so on. And it's important to use this kind of task repeatedly and not just look for errors, but focus on fact checking. How to do it, and how can you find if the fact is true or not. This quote is from Pasi Silander. I find this very, very important. I will just read it out. So AI doesn't have the human conscience or capability for ethical or moral reasoning, nor the conscience and capability for emotion and empathy. The responsible for knowing, so for using and interpreting the information generated by AI, lies with the human, the AI user. And that is pretty much the key point in this whole presentation. You as a human are responsible. AI can offer you so many different kind of outputs. There's a lot of information and disinformation and misinformation around internet, but you are responsible for knowing, checking the facts, and when you share information, you have to be very precise that it is true. We humans are responsible, and AI it's just a tool. Um, uh, the Finnish fact-checking organization has published several guidebooks in English, Swedish, and Finnish language, and they are freely available online. So there's a guide for digital information literature, and the other one, AI guide for teachers. And this is from this AI guide, and the chapter is Artificial Intelligence as an Epistemic Change in Education. So I recommend you to read that whole chapter as well. So then let's go to some more ethical challenges. I think you and your work community, your colleagues, you need careful planning when using AI, open communication about the tools you use and about the ways you use, and about the new ethical challenges you encounter in the future, and also continuous development. Generative AI in the way we use it nowadays is still quite new, and there will be a lot of changes in the coming years. So we need to be ready for the new challenges we encounter as well. And I hope that these new technologies will someday support your teaching and work and not just be an additional burden. It's very understandable that at first, when you are learning new skills and you are learning new tools, they feel like a burden. But the idea is that they will help you. They will give you, they support the objectives you have in your work. There are four key considerations of ethical guidelines when you are using AI and the data in teaching, learning, and assessment. Why not in other fields of our life as well? So the first is human agency. It means that a person should be able to determine their life choices, and they are also responsible for their actions. This fairness relates to everyone being treated fairly in the social organizations. It means that you have to consider the bias and stereotypes that AI often creates. And about the humanity, it's about well-being, safety, social cohesion, meaningful contact, and respect. It highlights the human-centric approach to AI. And the fourth one is justified choice. It relates to the use of knowledge, facts, and data to justify collective choices. It requires transparency, and it's based on participatory and explainability. So these are the main topics, and it continues with key requirements that you need to have for trustworthy AI. So it's about children rights, avoidance of bias, quality of data, and so on. And I suggest you to read this EU publication as well. This one is also available in multiple languages. And that's where all of these things are explained more. Then there are many other challenges as well. There are biases, stereotypes. We'll come back to copyright issues. Energy consumption is one big question, even though consumption has gone down a lot, especially when using text-based AI. Regulation is limited to EU area, but most of these tools come from the United States, so there are some problematic situations there as well. And the training is mainly done in low-cost countries. It means that even academic papers that are published in Europe, they have often the dialect of African English because that's where the AI has been trained. And it's also a tool for cyber criminals for cheating, deepfakes, hybrid influence as well. With these deepfake videos, you can create videos where person is speaking almost whatever language you want to. I can speak some German, but with these deepfake tools, Heijen, for example, I created a video where I'm speaking pretty much perfect German. I hope I would be able to speak this well, but I could also create me speaking Chinese, Italian, Spanish, whatever language I want. Does this sound like me?
Hallo, ich bin Marlena Laxos Avatar. In diesem Video erzähle ich euch etwas über meine KI-Reise. Vor der Veröffentlichung von ChatGPT.
Okay. Then let's go to biases and stereotypes. I suggest that you take the ChatGPT, Copilot, or some other generator and generate images, for example, of your home country or your workplace where you are working. And when you create images, it's a good idea to include the subject, the background, and the style to your prompt. Here I tried to create images of myself, middle-aged Finnish woman, and I was amazed how similar these two images are, even though I didn't use the same tool for this one. But there are pretty much the stereotypes, bookshelf there at the background, many women of my age like plants as we have it here. My haircut is always almost similar to this, and I'm blonde and having eyeglasses and so on. So when you create your own stereotypes, here are the questions you can ask yourself if the stereotypes reflect the reality, and if you are using this for this kind of task for education, you can also continue discussing what harm can stereotypes do and why AI or us humans are creating these stereotypes. Here are a few facts about AI Act. You are probably already quite familiar this one, but we have to remember that we have some prohibited practices if they violate the human rights. Then we have this high-risk AI that we can use, but we have a strict regulatory requirements how we can use AI, for example, for assessment. And then most of these, most of the use is this limited risk. So we can use this chatbot, we can create images or slide sets, but we have to be transparent. We have to let others know that we have used AI for this task. I'm often asked what tools can we use in work or in education, and there are quite many aspects for that. At least here in Finland, we have the quite strict understanding that we have to follow the instructions of our employee, the educational provider or the organization we are working in. And you can only share your own data. You cannot ask others to sign into AI tools if you are not sure that they are safe. And it's up to employee to decide which are safe for for those who are working there or studying in that organization, or for the data that is used. We have these national AI guidelines for education in Finland. They are created by Finnish National Agency for Education and the Ministry of Education and Culture. And they are available in English as well. If you are interested in reading them, it just takes 10 minutes to read them, but then we have some background materials as well. And we have this recommendation both for educational provider and for teaching and guiding staff. And now I will introduce some of those guidelines for staff, for teachers, for example. Uh, the obligations are general principles and then data protection and copyright. And with general principles, the idea is that educational provider will offer you the systems, the AI tools used. And if AI is used in assessment, the decisions must be made by the person. So assessment is something so important that it cannot be made alone by AI. It's always a human decision. Then when we continue the data protection, it's the educational provider, the employer, who will determine what information is allowed to be stored in or entered into AI systems. And we all must have understanding of the openness of the data and the types of AI services or tools or apps, whatever we call them, where we can insert data and what is safe. And about the copyright issues, um, we have to be very careful not to give AI any copyrighted information, because especially when using free AI tools, they almost always copy everything you insert there and use that as a training data for AI. Uh, Content created by AI doesn't usually get the copyright, because copyright is for persons, for us humans, or it can be given to organizations. But AI or different kind of tools, web tools, they don't get the copyright. And here are some perspectives or aspects on AI and copyright. So one problem is the training data. It very often includes also copyrighted material. So it means that when you are using AI, you could violate the copyright without even knowing it. Then there are terms of use of the tools you are using. And pretty often when you are using free tools, you are told to mention what tool you have used. And if it's a free tool, you are often required to buy the license if you use it commercially. It's up to your employee to let you know what data you can provide to AI when you are using it for work. But you can give your own data or Creative Commons zero license data, but you cannot provide copyrighted data to AI. That's the main idea. There are some small exceptions, but then you really have to know that information is not shared to AI tools, and it also restricts whether you can use it for work or is it only for your personal use. So the rights are for the humans. So if you create images with AI, you can use them, but so can anyone else. And then there are these transparency requirements by AI Act. So you can use the images, but you have to let others know that they are created by AI. And here are the recommendations we have here in Finland for teaching and guiding staff. So please free to read the whole recommendations. But the main idea that you should mainly use the AI systems provided by educational provider. You should use AI so that it's pedagogically justified. You have to be transparent. Teachers have to talk with learners about how to use AI. They have to teach AI literature. When they deny using AI at homework, for example, they have to let their students to know why. Why is that? Because we all need the understanding of AI. And also the bias, for example, hallucination must be taken care of. And of course, we are looking for the situation where AI provides added value to teachers and learners. But of course, we need to learn how to use it and play a little bit before we are in that situation. Here's one way of looking at AI. This is already an image from a couple of years. It tells when you can use generative AI. The first question is, does it matter if the output is true? Then we continue with the question, do you have expertise to verify that the output is accurate? And are you able and willing to take full responsibility for inaccuracies? And then our last theme is information searching and AI. Tampere University Library has a good guide in English about this subject. So here I have just as a summary, a few tips for you. The traditional information search is about databases that use search terms and logical operators, and there's the human in control. So you select the sources, you can check the original source and so on. Then when we talk about generative AI, it actually cannot be called information searching. It's something else. It's not information searching. It generates answers based on training data and by predicting the words. The result may look very professional, but it often contains hallucination. Not every fact is true. Then you can combine these just like in Copilot and ChatGPT. They are generative AI, but they are looking information from internet as well. And they are the AI, the search engines are looking for results, and AI is then there to write a summary. But even they can hallucinate, even though they have access to data in internet. They don't know everything and they make mistakes. When you're doing information search, it's good to know that libraries has different kind of tools for information searches, and some of them have AI assistants, like we have here in Tampere, this Scopus AI. So it searches information from scientific reference database. So look for the local library or look for the link mentioned in this slide to get some more information. Mm. So to summarize, generative AI apps cannot replace thorough information search, but they can help you to search for information. You might talk with your Copilot to orientate to the topic and plan your search. Look for the good words to use in your research. Um, um, so they might give you some ideas and widen the perspective you had at the beginning. So you can use them to help you, but just using them for information search is not enough if you want reliable information. I created this image with AI to summarize this library guide. Here are some important questions. Is AI supporting your learning or supporting the work you are doing? Do you know the original sources? This is one challenge in AI. And can AI be used, and what for? It shouldn't be something you automatically do when you are working. But what is the use? Is AI the best tool for you? Or is the search engine better? Or talking with your colleague, what is the best way of getting the result you are looking for? So at the end, I have a suggestion for you. I suggest that you will have a deep and critical conversation with AI, for example, ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, Perplexity. There are several tools of AI on what you have learned from this video. And then you analyze the conversation. What was AI's ability to answer, argue, and express opinions? And how does this conversation differ with the conversation you have with your colleagues? Because perhaps they have seen this same video too and you want to share your ideas. Or maybe you go to lunch with your colleague and want to tell the 3 key points you learned from this video. So what are the differences and similarities when talking with AI than talking with your colleagues or with your spouse? And what are the benefits and disadvantages of AI as a discussion partner? One way of learning AI and getting a more AI literature is using AI. And this might be a good task for you to do next. Okay, before the end, I will mention you my blog and the Padlet environment where I have collected links to different AI guides and recommendation videos, AI tools, tips for education. These are in Finnish language. So I need you to give you the tips for translation with web browser. I will just show you that in a minute. Okay, here I have my blog, and now I'm using the Chrome web browser. So I have several possibilities. I can click the address bar, and then it will open the Google Lens. And then I can choose here, for example, text, and then it will ask me if I want to copy, translate, or copy it as a picture. And here when I use it, detects it Finnish language, and I can translate it to English or any other language. And I could also listen for this text in Finnish in English language. And another way of translating is choosing these 3 right spots in the upper right corner. And here we have something like translate. And it will, for example, translate the whole blog page in Spanish language over here. And you have this similar tools in other web browsers as well. And then if you have a blog post where there are images, many of these have alternative text as well, but that is in Finnish as well. So that is especially good for this Google Lens because you can choose the image, and then when you choose the translate, it will find out the text from the image, and it will translate that as well. There are many different ways of translating text with web browsers, but these were just a few tips. And then as a reminder, in my English blog page, that's where you will find the slides for these presentation if you want to come back. And that's where I will in the near future link all the videos when they have been published as well. And then the last slide was just about this Creative Commons license that I'm using for the slides. And also this video will be publicly available. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you get new ideas and things to think about and discuss with your colleagues. And in the next videos, I will show you tools on how to use AI. This was more about AI literature and different aspects of that. Thank you so much and bye-bye.